All right, here we go. I'm going to walk you through my process of cutting a custom cardboard box to ship my epoxy inlays out in. I have been doing this for a handful of years now, and I have had absolutely zero problems with damage with UPS, FedEx, whoever I send it with. I virtually have zero problems sending it this way and making boxes like this. So we're going to start with a blank worksheet. The item that we're sending is 15 by 15. It's a 15-inch diameter circle, so we're just going to start with, we want to have 1 inch of buffer on either side, on all four sides of the sign. So we need to make our box 17 by 17. We're going to start with that. That's the size of our box that we want to do. We're going to add some walls. We want the walls to be 2.75 inches tall. So we're going to go and add walls to all four sides of this box, 2.75. And so all four of these tabs that I'm adding are going to flip up. This is going to be the bottom of the box. Now we need to make the top of the box to slide down over top of it. However, we need to make the top just a tad bit larger. I usually add 0.4 in all directions, and that gives me some nice space. So now we can add this at 2.75. Add the walls to the top of the box, 2.75 inch height. Perfect. Now, instead of having all 8 of these squares cut, we're going to add a second layer. It's going to be our cut layer. We're going to make it red. And we're just going to draw really quickly 4 squares right on these lines. That is just going to be a little bit faster for the machine to cut instead of 8 individual pieces. We can delete that original. Go ahead and move this next to each other. We're going to be running a toolpath on. We'll get there. We'll get there. So we have the box. Now remember, we gave 1 inch just for a visual here. Our sign is 15 inches in diameter, and we have 1 inch of space around the entirety. So what we need to do is create our buffers. We're going to start. I start this process by creating a box. 0.8, our buffer is 1 inch wide, so we're going to make our box 0.8, and then it's 2.75 inches tall. We're going to go ahead and copy and paste this, and this is a flat version of what's going to end up getting cut out and folded. So we'll go back to our cut layer, and we're going to draw the path for the bit to follow. We can delete those boxes. And this may look like nothing right now, but you will see. This is 17 inches, so we're going to rotate this 90 degrees, change the width to, width to 17 inches. So this is going to fold up and create one, actually let's rotate it the other direction. This is going to fold up and create one buffer. So we need to add a second one for those lengths. Then we need to create one for here, but we have to subtract 2 inches. So we need to make 2 more that are 15 inches wide, not 17. Perfect. Now, to make our tool paths efficient, we're going to connect these into one shape. Then we're going to connect all these lines. These are going to be all of the tool paths, all of the vector lines that we generate tool paths on. All right, so once we have that created, we're going to go ahead and select everything, toolpaths, profile toolpath, on. We're only going to cut 0.04. I use an 1/8 inch end mill for this. We can run it 350 inches a minute. We're going to call this ISI box. There we go. We're going to go ahead and save these toolpaths to our toolpaths folder. And now we can go ahead and bring it up on the machine. run it, and I'll show you the rest of the process. All right, here we are. This is what it looks like now that it's run. We have the bottom of the box, we have the top of the box, and then we have our buffers. So at this point, all I've done is cut each line 0.04 deep. What I need to do now is take a razor blade, cut everything out. I don't want to cut these tabs off because this is going to fold up, this is going to fold up. So there's only certain lines that I'm going to cut out, and then we can get to folding stuff, taping stuff, and I'll show you how it all gets assembled. Okay, here we go. First, what I will do is separate the top from the bottom. Boxes is what I mean. You could have your machine do this, cut all the way through on the particular lines that you want it to cut through on, but I find it just as easy, just as fast to go through with a razor blade and cut everything out. Now, with these being your buffers, you don't want to cut on any of the lines yet. You want to cut it out completely like this. Then we'll work on, because this is 2 buffers, that's 2 buffers. So you're going to end up folding them. We'll get there. We'll get there. All right. So this is what your box should look like when you cut it out. You got your base, you got your 4 flaps that are going to fold up and give it some shape. This is the top. And here we go. All right. Here's our sign, 15-inch in diameter. We got a French cleat on the back side. We got another French cleat we're going to send with it. Now we got to cut, not cut, yes, cut. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's your buffers. You see you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rectangles. We're going to cut it right in half. So 1, 2, 3, 4 makes a buffer. Buffer, is that a good word for it? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what I've been calling them. Padding, cardboard padding, sure. All right. So at this point, you have your straight lines cut. Those are your fold lines. You're going to fold it and crease it really good on those lines. Then take a piece of tape. Tape it together to give it this shape. All right. Then we'll go on to the next one. So we're going to do that with all 4 of these. This is very inexpensive. That whole cardboard sheet cost me $5 from Uline, and I used less than half of it. So we'll say that the entire packaging for me to send this product out cost me $2.50. Then you have the shipping label and the cost of shipping. All right. So we'll move on to the actual box now. This is the bottom of the box. I always start with the bottom. Crease those lines and then fold them up tape them together. All right, now we've got our bottom of the box. You can take our cardboard spacers, slide them in. And not only that, look how professional that looks. Just looks really professional. All right. Take our sign. Actually, before that, we put our French cleat in here. Just going to tape this down to the bottom of the box. I don't want it sliding around. Okay, so I measured this sign wrong. I actually measured it when the epoxy was wet, so I was hovering over it with the tape measure and never actually touched it. And it is 14.5 inches, not 15 inches. And we cut the box to be 15 inches. So there's some play. Typically, there would be no play because we would cut the box to the right dimensions. So instead of starting over, I'm going to show you how I will fix this. What I've done is taken the same cardboard, the rest of the sheet that we used to cut this, and I've cut 2 3/4 inch strips, which is the same height as the rest of the stuff, which is the same height as the walls of the box. And I am going to trim them and put a couple in on each side. Looks like we'll probably just need 2. Yeah, don't even need 2 on that one. I cut way more than I need, but that's okay. So this is a good lesson for if you screw it up, you will know what to do. Accidentally measure wrong, no big deal. It's just as easy as that. We could probably use one more right in there. All right, and now, no play. No play at all. Perfect. So that step is not necessary if you measure twice and cut once, but if you measure once and cut twice, then you'll have to do that. So at this point, we're ready for the top of the box. Same process. Remember, the top of the box was 0.4 inches larger than the bottom of the box. Now, I just remembered what you could also do if you did have just a tiny little bit of play and didn't have any way to, or didn't put the cardboard in there, you could run a piece of tape from here up and over across and squeeze it this way. And then again, a piece of tape from here over across and squeeze it that way. However, when I do that, I like to put a piece of cardboard down and then stick the cardboard to the tape so it kind of floats there. That way, you don't have anything touching and rubbing on the surface of the sign that you're sending out. This is not quite necessary. It's for that because there's no play already, and it's going to be traveling locally, so it's not going very far. So once that's done, you can squeeze this right over the top. Sometimes the bottom is pushed out a little bit, which is good, because then when we tape this, it's going to create tension and keep that product squeezed nice and tight on the edges. All right. I will typically do one piece of clear tape like that on all four sides. Brand tape. And we make this box look even more professional. With the glue tape. Not only does it work really well, obviously, to keep the box shut, it looks very professional. Get some branding. People see more of your logo. And it prevents people from trying to carry it by digging their hands in there. Now, this is fairly light. Typically, that would not be an issue. Some of the heavier stuff that I send out, that can certainly be an issue. So you don't want to give UPS drivers a lip of anything, because once the integrity of the box is compromised, that's when you might have some damages. There we go. All right, that's that. So you're ready for a label and sending it home.